Hello, my beautiful and fiercely intuitive Scorpio soul. Welcome home to the Mystic Astro Zen, your sacred space for truth, transformation, and awakening. If your eyes have landed on this message, it is not by chance. Something, or someone, wants your attention. Have you ever sat at a dinner table surrounded by people you love, yet felt the air thicken with silence you couldn't explain? Have you ever looked at someone close, a sibling, a parent, a partner, and sensed an invisible tension hiding behind their smile? That uneasy stillness, that strange heaviness in your chest, is not your imagination, it's energy. And tonight, Scorpio, that energy wants to speak, because somewhere near you, maybe even under the same roof, there's a hidden force quietly feeding on your light. Not always through words, sometimes through glances, silence, guilt or control disguised as concern. You've felt it before. The exhaustion after conversations that should have felt safe. The guilt that creeps in when you start to choose peace for yourself. The quiet unease that grows when you can't name what's wrong. You're not crazy, Scorpio. You're perceiving. You're seeing through illusion exactly as your soul was designed to. Before we continue, take a breath. Deep, steady, from the belly of your being. This is a message woven through cosmic threads, whispered by time itself, for those meant to awaken now. This narrative is a mirror, a reflection of one possible timeline, a story whispered into the universe for those who are ready to hear it. If this story resonates with you, Scorpio, if it stirs something in your chest, a memory or a knowing, take what you need from it. Hold on to what feels true. If it doesn't, simply let it pass like wind through an open window. Not every message is for every soul, but this one, if you're still here, was meant for you. You, Scorpio, are ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation, of life, death, and rebirth. That means your energy naturally uncovers what's hidden. You are a truth magnet. Wherever deception lingers, your intuition sharpens until it finds the pulse beneath the lie. But that gift can also be painful, especially when the shadows you sense aren't strangers. They're people you call family. Lately, the universe has been pulling you into confrontation with something uncomfortable. The tension, the strange distance, the emotional weight. It's not random, it's a spiritual initiation. Someone close to you, perhaps even bound by blood, feels threatened by the evolution they can no longer control. You've been changing, quietly, beautifully, and powerfully. You've stopped reacting the way they expect. You've started setting boundaries. You've become still when they seek chaos, calm when they push for drama. And in that stillness, they see something terrifying. Their illusion no longer works on you. You are no longer the same energy they use to manipulate or guilt into silence. Someone close to you, perhaps even bound by blood, feels threatened by the evolution they can no longer control. You've been changing, quietly, beautifully, and powerfully. You've stopped reacting the way they expect. You've started setting boundaries. You've become still when they seek chaos, calm when they push for drama. And in that stillness, they see something terrifying. Their illusion no longer works on you. You are no longer the same energy they use to manipulate or guilt into silence. But understand this, your awakening isn't the enemy, it's the mirror. Your light exposes their unhealed wounds, their envy, their need for control. You didn't come to break them, Scorpio. You came to break the pattern. The same toxic loops that have lived in your lineage for generations, the silence, the guilt, the obligation disguised as love, they stop with you. And that's why this friction feels so intense. It's not just personal, it's ancestral. Your soul chose this, to enter a family system where the shadow runs deep so that you could bring light into it. But here's what no one tells you about being the healer. The moment you stop bleeding for everyone else, they call you selfish. When you stop shrinking to keep the peace, they call you cold. When you start protecting your energy, they call you distant. But those are just the names people give to boundaries they don't benefit from. The universe is showing you something crucial. The tension you feel is not punishment. It's evidence of growth. Every time your energy expands, anything misaligned begins to shake. The person who once leaned on you to avoid their own healing now feels that loss of control, and they project it as anger, resentment, or passive aggression. Don't take it personally. The energy they're fighting isn't you. It's their own reflection in your transformation. Scorpio, this is the soul contract unraveling. You've done your part, listened, forgave, understood, endured. But the karmic loop can only continue if you keep participating. Your silence has been mistaken for weakness. Your empathy has been exploited as compliance, and your loyalty, oh, that sacred loyalty, has been used as the very chain to keep you bound. But the universe is stepping in now, whispering, enough. You see, not everyone who shares your home shares your vibration. Some connections are meant to teach, not to last. Some souls love you through fear, by trying to control you, guilt you, limit you, because that's the only love they know. But you, Scorpio, are built for liberation. You can love them and still walk away. You can forgive them and still protect yourself. Astrologically, Pluto and Saturn are forming aspects that push you into deeper self-trust. Pluto uncovers the truth behind masks, while Saturn tests your boundaries. Together, they're asking, will you choose alignment over obligation? Will you stay small for comfort or stand tall for truth? These are not rhetorical questions. The universe watches how you answer with your actions, not your words. Now your tarot mirrors this cosmic story. The devil emerges first, not as evil but as awareness. It represents emotional bondage, manipulation wrapped in familiarity, love that costs freedom. Someone in your energy field has been playing subtle power games, withholding affection, twisting conversations, or using guilt as leverage. The Ten of Swords follows. Betrayal not loud or dramatic but silent and cumulative, the kind that leaves you drained without understanding why. And then comes judgment, the reckoning, the awakening, the call to rise. Together, these cards tell one story: the end of illusion. This is not a war, Scorpio. This is liberation. The enemy within your home isn't a villain in the traditional sense. They're a soul operating from fear. Your healing threatens the survival of their ego. They don't consciously wish you harm, but your evolution feels like betrayal to their unhealed self. And that's why they act out. But remember this: the most dangerous energy isn't the one that shouts. It's the one that smiles while it drains. You've spent years trying to keep peace in a house that feeds on conflict. You've dimmed your intuition to make others comfortable. You've tolerated manipulation under the label of love. But your soul is tired of endurance disguised as virtue. You were never meant to keep swallowing pain to prove loyalty. Loyalty without respect is servitude. Now comes the hardest part: detachment. When the karmic pattern collapses, your spirit will crave silence. It's normal to feel grief, confusion, even guilt. You're not just leaving a toxic dynamic. You're leaving an identity, the version of you that believed love must hurt, that believed family must always be endured. That version of you was sacred, but it's time for her to rest. As you step back, your body will start to remember peace. You'll notice your breath deepening, your sleep returning, your mind quieting. These aren't coincidences, they're signs of recalibration. In the absence of chaos, your nervous system finally exhales. You begin to hear your own heartbeat again, and steady, real, and free. The universe wants you to understand something essential. Distance doesn't mean disconnection. It means discernment. When you create space, truth has room to breathe. That's when the fog clears, and you finally see who was feeding your peace and who was feeding from it. Scorpio, this journey will test you. You'll be tempted to return, to explain, to prove you're not the villain they've painted you as. Don't. The moment you defend your boundaries to those committed to misunderstanding them, You step back into the cage you just escaped. Silence in this case is sacred. Let your peace be your proof. As you detach, something magical happens. New frequencies begin to align with yours. Genuine souls appear. Conversations feel lighter. Opportunities open. This is the universe's way of saying, you passed the test. You're no longer operating from guilt or fear. You're operating from truth. That's how you break generational cycles, not through revenge, but through refusal to repeat. Now let's address the emotional wound beneath it all. That deep ache that asks, why couldn't they love me right? The answer is both simple and profound. They can only love at the level of their consciousness. Expecting more from them is like asking a locked door to open itself. It's not that they don't care, it's that they're still asleep. But your awakening doesn't need their approval. The door has already opened for you. Walk through it. The universe will confirm your courage through signs, repeated numbers like 2 and 22, balance, 808, infinite flow, and 1111, awakening. Feathers, coins, sudden songs that echo your emotions. These aren't coincidences, they're validations. Each one whispers, keep going, you're on the right path. The universe will confirm your courage through signs, repeated numbers like 2 and 22, balance, 808, infinite flow, and 1111, awakening. Feathers, coins, sudden songs that echo your emotions. These aren't coincidences, they're validations. Each one whispers, keep going, you're on the right path. And here's the deepest truth of all, Scorpio. Not every family is built from love, and not every stranger is a stranger. Sometimes your soul family comes later in life. Those who see you without needing an explanation, who love you without needing to control you. As you let go of the old, space opens for the new. From a cosmic lens, the people who wounded you the most are not random. They are karmic teachers, playing painful but sacred roles. Their purpose was to awaken your boundaries, not to break your spirit. Once that lesson is complete, the contract expires. Continuing it only recycles pain. This is your graduation moment. You're free to redefine what home means. Not 4 walls of tension, but a vibration of peace. Your true home is within you, Scorpio. It's the sanctuary that no one can invade once you reclaim it. When you stop searching for safety in others and find it within your own spirit, that's when you're untouchable. You no longer chase acceptance because you've become acceptance itself. So, Scorpio, take a deep breath. The illusion has been shattered. You are seeing clearly now, and clarity can feel like loss at first, but it's actually liberation. You don't owe anyone your suffering to prove love. You don't owe explanations for your healing. You don't owe access to those who keep you small. You are allowed to close the door gently, silently, and permanently. Forgive them not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You can love them and still walk away. You can pray for them and still protect your light. Forgiveness isn't permission for them to return. It's permission for you to move on. As this chapter closes, you'll realize something extraordinary. What you thought was betrayal was actually redirection. What you thought was loss was initiation. What you thought was the end was the beginning of you. Now, Scorpio, whisper this with me. I choose my healing over my history. That's not rebellion, it's rebirth. That's not defiance, and it's destiny. And when you rise from this, your energy will speak louder than any defense ever could. Those who doubted you will witness your peace. Those who judged you will feel your absence. Those who hurt you will face their own mirrors. But you'll walk free. So, beautiful Scorpio, if this message has touched your soul, claim it. Leave your affirmation in the comments. I choose my healing over my history. My peace is my proof. Because that, right there, is how the hidden enemy loses. Not through confrontation, but through transformation. The light you carry cannot be dimmed by anyone's shadow. It was never about fighting them. It was about remembering you. And now you have. The universe smiles, the contract ends, you are safe, you are seen, you are free.